Have you ever paused to consider the hidden cracks in a life that seems perfect from afar? The kind where wealth and fame promise endless happiness, yet deliver isolation and heartbreak instead? Today, we're exploring the extraordinary yet tragic story of Francesca Hilton, the only daughter of hotel tycoon Conrad Hilton and the iconic actress Zsa Zsa Gabor. Born into a world of opulence, she navigated a path filled with glittering highs and devastating lows, ultimately reminding us that true fulfillment often lies beyond material riches. Her tale is one of resilience amid rejection, humor in the face of pain, and the quiet struggles that lurk behind celebrity facades. Join me as we uncover the layers of her life, from her tumultuous beginnings to her poignant end. It's a narrative that challenges our assumptions about privilege and invites us to reflect on the human cost of fame. Let's set the scene in post-World War II America, an era of rebirth and boundless optimism that masked underlying tensions. The late 1940s saw the United States emerging from the devastation of global conflict, with cities like New York pulsing with energy as veterans returned home. The economy boomed, and the entertainment industry exploded into a golden age. Skyscrapers symbolized soaring ambitions, while Hollywood crafted escapist fantasies on silver screens, drawing immigrants and dreamers alike. Amid this backdrop thrived the Gabor sisters, Zsa Zsa, Eva, and Magda, charismatic Hungarian émigrés who escaped Europe's wartime chaos in the 1930s and 1940s, leveraging their exotic allure, wit, and beauty to conquer American high society. Zsa Zsa, in particular, became a symbol of glamour with her husky accent, multiple marriages to millionaires, and roles in films like Moulin Rouge, 1952, where she won a Golden Globe in 1958. She epitomized the blend of European sophistication and American opportunism, often quipping about her love life in ways that captivated the press. On the other side stood Conrad Hilton, a self-made mogul who transformed modest Texas boarding houses into a global hotel empire, starting in the 1920s. By the 1940s, his properties, like the Waldorf Astoria in New York, catered to the elite, embodying the American dream's promise of luxury and success through hard work and innovation. Yet, his personal life was marked by ambition that often overshadowed family. A devout Catholic, he married Zsa Zsa in 1942, but their union quickly soured amid cultural clashes and his relentless business focus. It was into this intoxicating yet unstable world of flashbulbs, cocktail parties echoing with jazz from artists like Duke Ellington, and the clatter of typewriters chronicling celebrity scandals that Francesca Hilton arrived in 1947. Her birth coincided with her parents' crumbling marriage, foreshadowing a life trapped between extravagant privilege and emotional voids. In this time of societal shifts, women gaining more visibility in Hollywood, while traditional family structures strained under modern pressures, Francesca's story highlights how even the most fortunate could feel profoundly alone, surrounded by velvet ropes that isolated as much as they elevated. Now let's delve deeply into Francesca's life journey, tracing it chronologically through its major milestones, enriched with vivid details and lesser-known incidents that reveal her complex character. She was born Constance Francesca Gabor Hilton on March 10, 1947, in New York City, a name that carried the weight of two dynasties, the entrepreneurial Hiltons and the glamorous Gabors. Her arrival was shrouded in immediate turmoil. Her parents had separated in 1946, with their divorce finalized in September of that year, just months before her birth. From the outset, her existence sparked controversy. In Zsa Zsa's 1991 autobiography, One Lifetime is Not Enough, Her mother alleged that Francesca's conception stemmed from a violent assault by Conrad during their acrimonious split, a shocking claim that lingered like a dark cloud over the family narrative. Francesca, however, addressed it with characteristic humor in a rare 2008 interview with the Los Angeles Times. "I know they had sex because here I am. I asked my mom about this and she doesn't seem to remember." This witty deflection, rarely highlighted in mainstream accounts, showcased her ability to navigate painful truths with a levity, adding a fresh layer to her public persona. Tragedy intruded almost immediately. Mere months after her birth, in late 1947, a brazen burglar invaded their Manhattan home while Zsa Zsa and the nanny were present. The intruder bound the women, menacingly threatened to harm the infant Francesca if they resisted, and escaped with jewelry valued at over $750,000, equivalent to several $1,000,000 today. This harrowing event, detailed in archived newspaper reports from the time, underscored the vulnerabilities even the wealthy faced in post-war urban America, where crime rates spiked amid economic readjustments. It also amplified Zsa Zsa's protective instincts, though it did little to mend the fractured family. Conrad, embittered by the divorce, initially denied paternity outright, refusing to let Francesca live in his home or even acknowledge her publicly. Without modern DNA testing, the matter simmered until he eventually relented, but their relationship never warmed beyond superficial interactions. As Francesca later reflected in interviews, he was a businessman. He was wonderful, but he was married to his business. Her early childhood unfolded in a whirlwind of extravagance, tempered by emotional neglect. Raised primarily by Zsa Zsa in lavish settings, from sprawling Beverly Hills estates to European villas, Francesca's world was one of constant movement. She jetted between Paris, Rome, and New York, attending elite schools and participating in high society events. A little-known passion from this period was her involvement in equestrian competitions. As a child, she excelled in horse riding, winning ribbons at shows that blended her mother's flair for drama with a grounded athletic outlet. Yet this luxury came at a cost. Zsa Zsa, ambitious and image-conscious, treated her daughter as an extension of herself, dressing her in makeup and designer gowns from toddlerhood. A poignant, overlooked snapshot comes from a 1958 Life magazine feature on Francesca's 11th birthday party. Held at a posh venue, it featured guests in tuxedos and ball gowns, with young Francesca wide-eyed amid the adult sophistication, encouraging her friends to meet the boys as they danced until 10 p.m. "My mother would drag me around, not drag me, but take me to different locations," she recalled in the 2008 LA Times piece. "I was never really a kid because I'm the only child. Parents do the best they can, you know?" Zsa Zsa's parade of suitors added to the transactional feel. Boyfriends lavished gifts on Francesca to curry favor, hoping she'd influence her mother toward marriage. One such figure was the infamous Dominican dictator Rafael Trujillo's son, whom Zsa Zsa once tried to set her up with, as Francesca humorously recounted years later. Adolescence brought rebellion against this scripted existence. By her teens in the 1960s, Francesca rejected Zsa Zsa's push toward Hollywood stardom. Instead, during summer breaks, she took a job in the reservations department at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, her father's flagship property in Beverly Hills. This hands-on role, rarely discussed in biographies, earned her Employee of the Month accolades for her diligence and customer service. "They'd always ask your name so they could scream at you if it didn't work out," she joked in interviews. "When I gave them my name, they said, 'Sir.'" It was a deliberate act of independence, contrasting sharply with the Gabor family's spotlight-chasing ways. Her bond with Conrad remained distant. They shared occasional Christmases and lunches at upscale spots like L'Escoffier in Beverly Hills, where he'd mispronounced Zsa Zsa's name as Georgia. A hidden detail from family archives reveals Conrad's occasional simple gifts during these meetings, a book or a piece of jewelry, hints of affection overshadowed by his empire building. We'd spend Christmas together. We'd occasionally have lunches, she said warmly. Yet the undertone of longing was evident. Entering adulthood in the 1970s, Francesca tentatively explored the entertainment world on her own terms, amassing a modest acting resume that reflected her aversion to the limelight. Her debut came in the 1971 film A Safe Place, directed by Henry Jaglom and starring Tuesday Weld and Jack Nicholson, where she played Noah's friend, a small but memorable role in this experimental drama about alienation, ironically mirroring her own life. Other parts followed: an uncredited shoplifter in the blaxploitation hit Cleopatra Jones, 1973, a guest spot as Carrie in the TV series Canon, 1973, credited as Francesca Hilton, and a role in The Dion Brothers, also known as The Gravy Train, 1974, as a girl in a restaurant. Later credits included Liz, the Elizabeth Taylor Story, 1995 TV movie, as Woman of Her One, Pterodactyl Woman from Beverly Hills, 1996, as Helene, and her final film, Forever Fabulous, 1999, portraying a PTA mother. Television appearances dotted her career from game shows like Tattletales, 1984, to documentaries such as Intimate Portrait, 1998, on Zsa Zsa and E! True Hollywood Story, 1998, where she appeared as herself, offering candid insights. A lesser-known endeavor was her 1980s pivot to photography. She captured unguarded portraits of celebrities, like Joan Collins, whom she'd greet with, "Joan, you look fabulous," revealing her keen eye for vulnerability, a trait perhaps born from her own experiences. Romance added sparks to her chaotic life, though it often remained private. In the 1970s, she dated the eccentric British comedian Peter Sellers, fresh from his Pink Panther success, bonding over shared humor and personal demons in a whirlwind affair that's seldom mentioned in Hilton family lore. Sellers' own tumultuous life, marked by multiple marriages and mental health struggles, resonated with Francesca's, providing a brief oasis of understanding. She also harbored a crush on singer-songwriter Chris Christopherson, once visiting music producer Phil Spector's infamous home with him. I met him through Chris Christopherson. He took me up to his house one time. I had a crush on Chris Christopherson, she shared casually in an interview, a lighthearted anecdote that humanizes her amid the glamour. Marriage arrived later. She wed businessman Joseph Peach on October 2, 1993, in a quiet ceremony. But the union dissolved in divorce by 2010, childless, and leaving her without heirs to carry the Gabor Hilton legacy. By this time, she'd also worked for the Conrad Hilton Foundation, attempting to connect with her father's charitable side through humanitarian efforts, including plans for a documentary trip to Africa with World Vision, a project cut short by her declining fortunes. The turn of the millennium ushered in darker chapters as financial and familial storms intensified. Conrad's death on January 3, 1979, exposed deep rifts. His will allocated her a mere $100,000 from a $200 million estate, roughly $800 million today, with the bulk directed to his foundation for humanitarian causes. $100,000 out of $200 million, that's why I sued, she admitted bluntly in the 2008 LA Times interview, contesting the will due to a disinheritance clause She lost, viewing it not just as financial rejection, but a denial of her place in the family. Meanwhile, her half-brother Baron Hilton inherited and expanded the empire to billions, later pledging 97% of his wealth to charity in 2007, echoing their father's priorities, and leaving descendants like Paris and Nikki with minimal inheritances, a decision that fueled ongoing family debates. Tensions with Zsa Zsa mounted, exacerbated by her mother's ninth husband, Frederick Prince von Anhalt, whom she married in 1986. In 2005, von Anhalt sued Francesca, alleging she forged Zsa Zsa's signature on a $2 million loan to refinance their Bel Air mansion and prevent foreclosure, also claiming manipulation of Zsa Zsa's will. Francesca countered that it was done with her mother's approval. "I did it to save the house." The case was dismissed when Zsa Zsa failed to appear or provide a statement, but the acrimony lingered. By 2012, as Zsa Zsa's health deteriorated, following a 2002 car accident, a 2005 stroke, a 2011 leg amputation due to gangrene, and advancing dementia, Francesca petitioned for an independent conservatorship, accusing von Anhalt of financial mismanagement, improper medical care, and isolating her mother. "He's keeping her like a prisoner," she stated in court documents. They settled out of court, with terms allowing Francesca weekly 1-hour visits and monthly financial reports, but she hadn't seen Zsa Zsa in years, though they spoke daily. "She's good. I'll give her your love," she'd tell inquiring friends. A biting quote from Francesca captures her disdain. "My mother wanted to be a princess, so she married an evil queen," referring to von Anhalt. Financial desperation defined her later years. Despite her lineage, Francesca lived frugally, then in outright poverty. By her 60s, she bounced between low-rent motels and her Volvo station wagon, confiding to friends, "I live with murderers in a flophouse," as reported in a 2015 Radar Online article. This raw admission, drawn from close associates, paints a stark contrast to the Hilton Empire's luxury. Engaged to Michael Nazis at the time, she was penning an unfinished autobiography, spilling untold family secrets. Her comedy career, starting in 2008 at the Comedy Store, became a lifeline. She'd quip, "Good evening. I am the original Hilton heiress. I'm older, wiser, smarter, and I'm damn whiter," mocking her figure and relatives. She zinged Paris. "She called me the other day and said, 'Francesca, can you pick me up? I'm just too drunk to drive.' I said, 'Girl, I'd pick you up, but I'm too drunk to drive myself.' And about Zsa Zsa, my mother and I were the best of friends now that we're the same age." These routines, performed until shortly before her death, were cathartic outlets for her frustrations. Francesca's life concluded tragically on January 5th, 2015, at age 67, from a massive stroke at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. Friends attributed it to relentless stress from family conflicts, with her publicist declaring, "Everybody that really knows Francesca knows why she passed away. It was a massive heart attack caused by the stress of one Frederick von Anhalt." In a heart-wrenching irony, Zsa Zsa, then 97 and ravaged by dementia, was never informed of her only child's death. Von Anhalt withheld the news until Zsa Zsa's own passing in December 2016 from cardiac arrest. Francesca's body remained unclaimed in the morgue for days, as von Anhalt attempted to take control, even citing disturbing voicemails from her, alluding to suicide and demanding an investigation. Authorities ordered an autopsy and denied his request. Eventually, half-brother Baron arranged a small funeral at St. Ambrose Catholic Church in West Hollywood on January 12, 2015, attended by about 100 people, including celebrities like Joan Collins. She was cremated, her ashes interred beside Aunt Eva Gabor at Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery, not with the Hiltons, symbolizing her lifelong outsider status.